Hey, welcome everybody to the Black Diamond Call. John Lavinia is here, and I am excited. It is Monday, the 25th of September. It is officially autumn here in the Northern Hemisphere. It is officially spring down south. Welcome to all of our friends who are joining us from all over the world on the Black Diamond Call, as we do each week, where we always have a thrilling episode. Tonight is no different. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. We've got a great guest host. And before we bring him out here, I am going to remind everyone and inform our brand new members, of which there are many. There are so many brand new people. Welcome to all of you. We have coming up in just over 2 weeks, we have our Marketing Mastery event, our end of the year event for Digital Altitude, and that's going to be October 14th and 15th in in Las Vegas. Kind of just down the road a little bit from Australia. I've been talking to a lot of Aussies lately. But yes, we're going to be in sunny Las Vegas for the 14th and 15th for Marketing Mastery. If you are not familiar with what this is, you definitely want to tune in on Thursday evening, where we're going to be having a special broadcast. Check your email for an invitation, and that's going to be pretty great stuff. We did have one like that just a week or two ago. We had a special broadcast. We're going to be covering some other stuff this week on a special broadcast Thursday night, talking about some of the provisions and features and benefits, etc., of what's going to be happening in October. So be there. And if you want more information right now, of course, you can go to digitalaltitude.co/MME. That will bring you directly to the page where you can get all the information about the Marketing Mastery event. Once again, digitalaltitude.co/MME. And that is my one and only announcement for tonight. And we're going to be having a great session because I'll tell you how this call came about, this particular episode. The Black Diamond Call, of course, has been around a long time in various forms. Before Digital Altitude existed, I've been hosting this call in various forms for about 15 years. And it's where we get to get together each week and just tell it like it is. We're going to hear from myself and from a guest speaker tonight, and you're going to hear about how we have gotten to the top of our game in our chosen field, which is, of course, your chosen field, since you're here listening to this right now. Yes, we're all in top-tier direct sales and making it happen. So the idea for this call is take what you like and leave the rest. Think of it like a buffet. And when you do take, please put it to use. These ideas are for use, not just for entertainment value, as entertaining as I know our guest speaker is tonight. He's an entertaining guy, I think, in my humble opinion. But take these ideas, see how you can use them in your life. And, of course, if we say anything that offends you, you'll get over it. That's just how we roll here on the Black Diamond Call. So, but tonight's call came about because I've been, as many of you know, I've been working with some of our members here in Digital Altitude as a senior coach. That's one of the hats that I wear here in our community, and I've had the pleasure of working with some really, really awesome people. Some of you listening right now, I'm working with you right now, and if you're tuning in live, we will have a little bit of a community feedback and Q&A session right at the towards the end of our call tonight. But if you're listening on the podcast, you know what? There are so many of you who have come through Digital Altitude just in the past few months that I've gotten to speak with, who were sponsored by tonight's guest speaker. Yes, I see, because I get to witness this stuff as a coach, I get to see people who are creating great momentum in their business and in other people's businesses. And, while my role as a coach is one where I get to take a more objective view of what other people are doing or intend to do, which I think is a very valuable thing. It's one of the big attractions here with Digital Altitude is that we actually have coaches that new members can talk to and pick their brains and get insights and experience from people who've really made, in some cases, millions of dollars already doing this, right? So I think that's an unfair advantage, and I love that. I love participating in that in the capacity of coach. But I also recognize, because I've got decades of sales and marketing experience, I also recognize when somebody is really doing some spectacular work, on the front end. Now, I'm going to say this, and I'm setting the table here for this guy before I bring him out. There's a front end to this business and there's a back end. And if that's not yet evident to you, maybe you're brand new, maybe you're one of the people I was just addressing right at the beginning here, saying, hey, if you haven't even heard about the Marketing Mastery event, go check this thing out. I know we've got people who are just hours in the business right now tuning into this. Well, I want you to understand there is the front end, which we could call how digital altitude interfaces with the public, okay? And that's marketing, right? That's affiliates, that's people who are marketers. They're putting a message out there into the marketplace, and it's different for everyone. It's different for everyone. Some people are more into the what I would call high-touch methods, like, for example, video marketing and being very active on social media and these sort of things, which incidentally fetch very qualified leads, prospects, people who feel like they already have some connection to you because they've witnessed your content, your videos, they've read your articles, what have you. And then other people are more interested or focused on the more like paid methods, right? That we're going to place advertisements and we're going to buy media, banners, right? Solo advertising, all this sort of thing. That's a very expedient method of getting lots of leads, but it's a more high volume sort of a thing where you still have to develop trust and credibility in the marketplace. In this case, after people have engaged with you because they clicked on your ad or something. But all of these methods work in various forms. But here's the main thing when we're talking about the front end of the business. The front end, that's what we're talking about tonight. The main thing is that you're able to focus and you're not getting sidetracked by 10 million different things. You know who you are. You've made a decision about how you're going to show up in the marketplace and what value you're going to provide, and your message is consistent, and you attract people who are your ideal target audience. And that's what I've noticed from this guy. I don't know him too well personally because, he's on the front end, I'm on the back end, I'm working with people, I'm hosting calls like this, I'm doing coaching for members that he's bringing in and others as well, right? It's not like I'm only working with his members, but I can tell you that I've seen again and again, here's a guy who's focused on the front end of the business, exactly what everyone here on this call has signed up to do, right? To learn to be a marketer, right? And what does that mean? That means you increasing the demand for what you supply, right? We've got the supply. That's all here. That's all on the back end. You don't have to worry about the back end, right? We got the product delivery. We got fulfillment. We got compensation plans and accounting working and legal teams and event planners. All that is back end. Coaching, all of that. All of it is back end, right? Your focus is the front end. Increasing the demand for what we supply. And if you get focused on that, your mission, should you choose to accept it, this is a very powerful thing to do because marketing, sales and marketing, statistically, is the highest paid profession in the world, okay, when you're good at it. And that's something that I've learned throughout the years firsthand, but I also heard from people who came before me, the greats of our industry throughout time, right, talking about how they've risen themselves up from, a lowly worker at a job and doing whatever they were doing to, making in some cases, going back some time now, hundreds of thousands of dollars when that was a big deal, or millions of dollars when that was a big deal, now tens of millions of dollars, as the value of the dollar changes over time. But we've got people, and one of them right here is with us tonight, people who are focused and getting the job done and attracting the ideal people for digital altitude. Because you know what, this community is not just Michael Force, it's not just John Lavenia, it's not just some of these people that you'll be seeing on stage at the Marketing Mastery event. It's all of us, right? This is your business. This is your business. And one of those people who has taken ownership of that is my friend Marvin Bennie. Marvin, how are you, brother?
Hey, doing good, John. How are you doing tonight?
I am so good. You know why I'm doing good? Because I've been wanting to get you on one of these calls for like 10,000 years, and here you are. Here you are, sir.
Yeah. I definitely feel honored. I definitely appreciate you inviting me out tonight.
Well, you know what? Your results speak for itself, right? I mean, that's the thing. Is I like to showcase people who are at the top of their game, and that's the whole idea of the Black Diamond, and just tell it like it is with what you're doing to get the results you are. Obviously, you're a focused guy. I know that about you. And I know that you of course, you attend the events. You're going to be there with us. Where do you want to go with this tonight?
Yeah. I'll start with that. I mean, basically, focus is definitely key. I've been online since 2012, and I guess initially when I started, as most people know, I didn't just started coming in and start crushing this right away. When I first got started online in 2012, I kind of, spent my wheels, and obviously there was not a business like Digital Altitude around at that time. So I had to, learn a little bit. But I guess when I say, focus, it's just that, there's all kind of money-making schemes that are, popping up on the internet. Hey, you can make this. It's just that people, will focus on something, maybe for maybe 2-3 weeks, and then they jump onto a new deal. I mean, really the success in any business, definitely in Digital Altitude is really, focusing on it exclusively, and, you have to make some sacrifices, to stick with it. So basically, all I do is I focus on, the front end, of marketing. I don't try to be the salesperson. I'm not a professional speaker, so that's why I tell people that, you can definitely do this. I mean, there are obviously people who can sell, like you, and then, we have, the sales coaches, we have the startup coaches that does all that work for me. What I mostly do in my business, I focus on just being myself, telling it like it is. I don't try to add any fluff onto it. And, the other big thing is, like I said, I come out to these events. I'm learning from, the big marketers out there, Jason Stone and Darren and Rhonda. I mean, it's really, honorable when I can get out there and meet them face-to-face to see exactly what they're doing in their business and, and actually applying it. That's just the big thing. A lot of people are just, they're not action takers. They'll sit and, they'll watch a webinar or do this. I mean, it takes a lot of guts to actually go to an event, meet someone, learn some skills, and actually apply it.
Yeah. You know what? That's a big distinction right there. All this stuff is for use, and I sort of started our call by imploring people to please take these ideas and use them. It's not just, for entertainment. You can go watch, kitten videos on YouTube or something if you want to be entertained. But here we're talking about a complete lifestyle change and really taking control of our immediate financial future. So Marvin, in your case, you mentioned a couple of things already. One is staying focused on your primary offer, essentially, right? So I know there are a lot of shiny objects, and this is something, I've got students who I'm working with, one of them, yours, I believe, one of your members, who contacted me today and said, hey, I got this, I got this other offer for like this other thing, and the guy says, oh yeah, this works great right alongside DA, and you know what I'm talking about, shiny object syndrome. Lots of sharks in the water. What are your thoughts on all that?
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, because when you're online, just that we have, Facebook, there's social media. There's so many ways now that people can, see new offers and just see various things. It's just about being focused on one thing at a time. Can't remember if I mentioned already, but I mean, I'm not against, having multiple streams of income, because obviously, the more incomes you have paying you, the more money you can make. But I've just found that people, who try to focus on 2, 3, 4 businesses at one time, they generally struggle to make money in any of them. And obviously, with how much money that you can make here in Digital Altitude, obviously everybody's results are going to vary. But you can earn, from hundreds to thousands of dollars per sale, most people will be satisfied, just with the income here. So I guess mainly the key thing is, focusing on something. Most people focus span, which I find, John, is, 14 days or maybe 30 days. But those who can focus exclusively, on Digital Altitude, the training, taking the time to work with the coaches, taking the time to be on all the training calls. I mean, I'm a man. I love football. I love a lot of things like that. But there are times you have to kind of make time, set those things aside. I mean, especially if you have a busy life. Me, I'm a husband. I'm a dad. I have a really busy life outside of business. But, you got to really think about what, your why is, basically why you're doing this. I have people who work, 50, 60 hours a week. They just don't have the time. But I say, what will it really mean to you if you could quit that job and you could, you can win back all of that time? It's really worth it. A lot of people think that it's a big sacrifice to, to get on a webinar like tonight. Like right now, it's at 9 p.m. It's a Monday night, football here is going to be starting. it's just a lot of people aren't willing to make that sacrifice to, to build, something better for their life. That makes sense.
Sure. I'm just looking at the chat roll right now as you're talking, and, we've got, well, first of all, Lynn says, hey, Marvin. I don't know if you're looking at the chat roll, Marvin, but hey, Marvin. And Lila says, DA is my only focus. Here's, like you're just talking about, what you're choosing to do with your time. Jagdish says, yep, drop everything and be on every DA call. I have found the greatest learnings and motivation on these sessions. So that is a very good distinction, Marvin. We all have the 24 hours, right? Like every motivational speaker, has reminded us of. So that's good. All right, so we got 24 hours. What are we going to do with it to make it the most profitable and productive and on purpose 24 hours, right? Now, that doesn't mean we don't have fun, and that doesn't mean we don't have diversions. There are times, where I just want to get on my Harley and ride. I don't even know where I'm going. It's just me and the highway. That's cool. We need a reprieve as well. But the idea of taking control of your financial future and of getting focused on this one thing, which in my experience, Marvin, and I don't know about you, but I'm an author. I run my own companies. I'm a busy guy. Like when I was invited to come here and coach and start this whole training call series for Digital Altitude, I had to take a look at the at the business model and most importantly, who was behind it, right? So this is no small endeavor. This is something pretty big. But I could tell you, in my experience, doing all the things that I've done, nothing has beaten top-tier direct sales in terms of ability to earn money, right? Not writing books, not, and maybe if I focus more on, the publishing world, maybe that would be a primary thing for me, but it hasn't been. Top-tier direct sales, what we're doing here, working with people and doing something of something substantial where people can make real money. That changed my life. 15 years ago, I was, working a job. I was miserable, man. I was working a job. Can you believe that, Marvin? I worked a job.
Yeah, I've always known you as I just can't imagine you working a job. But, hey, that just shows that, hey, you're a human being, just like the rest of us, and we all started from the same place,
Yeah.
I've worked, like the last job I had, I worked, about 60 hours a week. So that's already, took up most of my day. I had to build my business on a couple hours a night or an hour a night. This is going back to 2012 because, it's just that really what a business like Digital Altitude can do for you is just that, it's just a blessing, being able to just wake up each day with my family and, and look at, the things that I've achieved. We just purchased a second home. We actually planned a vacation for right after the MME coming up here in October. It's just that, it's just for those of us who are willing to work hard. A lot of us put a lot of time and effort in our careers. I've come from a background of information technology, working with computers and everything. I've always put really hard work into it. But unfortunately, I've never been able to earn the money that I really desire. And I think part of that is because I don't have a college degree. And, for anyone who works in information technology, if you don't have a college degree, it's kind of, you're going to be, not making a lot of money. So, but with here, being online, working with, Digital Altitude with what they offer, it's just that, we don't have to build the system. We don't have to understand the legal side of it. We don't have to understand, how all the technical things in the background work. You can just plug right in and be able to make, more money than most people in, modern America. It's really cool.
Yeah, you know what? Just what you said right there is the leverage, right? That's the leverage of having other people, competent people, on post and doing what they do best, so you can do what you do best or develop that strength, right? Like you said, you were working 60 hours a week, right? That was back in 2012, right? So I got started back in 2002 in our industry, and I was working 70, 80 hours a week. It was crazy. So here's the big question, Marvin, because we got people who are right now looking to make that transition, right? They're already motivated, right? Just like you were motivated. You don't show up for work, 60 hours a week unless you're motivated. So you already had that going for you. But how did you you transition or find the time, or like what was that transitional period like when you were still working more than full time and yet getting traction or attempting to get traction in what would later become your lifestyle, your business?
Well, it really just started, John. It just started with a simple decision that I want something better, and I'm going to do anything it takes, to get something better. It just got to the point where, it's enough talk, it's enough, it's just that when you're sick and tired of the life that you're living, no time, no money, it's like, you really have to, focus on something bigger. So I used the little time that I had. Like there's some nights, I may only have 1 or 2 hours, try to work at the business, I would do that. And, but the main important thing is I'm seeking out successful entrepreneurs, people who are making money, or, just people, motivational speakers like Tony Robbins, Bob Proctor, and I've also, had a couple of mentors, that I've actually met at, some of these events, like in previous companies, which some of them are here now in Digital Altitude, I just remember back to the first event I went to. This was like end of 2012. It was a different company. And, I barely scraped up the money to be able to make it to that event. I bought the ticket. I really couldn't afford a flight because my credit cards were maxed out. But I ended up getting to the event. I could only stay there for one day because I could only afford the hotel for that one night. But just that event alone, I've been able to just meet some of the people who are making, multiple 6, 7-figure incomes, walk up to them and be able to say, like, hey, what are you doing in your business? And I've had people that, give me ideas and decide, to mentor me and help me. Now, for those listening, you're probably thinking, like, okay, I'm saying a lot of what the other leaders are saying, like, hey, I found a mentor, I went to an event. It's because it's the truth. So now ever since, the first Digital Altitude event I went to the one, it was the first MME. It was actually in Vegas, close to last year this time. I believe it was like in October or something like that. I just went there and just was so blown away, being able to meet, like I said, like Darren, Alex Zuber, just a lot of those people out there that are crushing it. It's really, I just really can't explain the power of being able to go, because these people, they're not going to run away from you. They're not like, too good to talk to you, because that was just my biggest fear, is that, hey, I'm going to meet someone who's making, a lot of money, and if I ask them a question, they're just going to brush me off because I'm not good enough. But when you can meet, people, and see that they're just human beings just like we are, they're all willing to help. I go there, I meet some of the coaches I've worked with in the past. It's really, been a real blessing. I know I'm using the word blessing because that's really what it's been. So what I feel I can do in my business for others is that I can be that same, person, that mentor to help people get started, because I know there's a lot of people, can barely use a computer, so they wonder, hey, can this really work for me? Or do I have to be a professional speaker? Like, John, you're such a professional speaker. That's kind of why I was, it's probably been hard to get me out here. But, hey, that just shows you that you can still make a lot of money. You can make well over 6 figures. You don't have to have those skills. You don't have to be, that salesperson. You can just, like I said, plug right into the system, just focus on that front-end marketing, connecting with your audience, people who resonate with you, and presenting that, opportunity with them, and then letting the system go to work. And that's pretty much how I've been building all my success since I've been in Digital Altitude, John.
Right. Now, do you build for events? That's a phrase that's been kicked around in various portions of our industry for years, like building for events. Like it's all about getting to the events, having your team there, and sort of basing your calendar around, company events like what we've got coming up here in a month, or in just a couple of weeks, actually. So is that something that you've consistently done?
Well, it's part of my strategy. Most of my strategy, like I say, it's just, I'm just being myself, just creating a belief change in people. Because, a lot of people, are stuck on the past, something that happened 20 years ago, and they feel like they can't succeed. So I like to, be that example and show people that, this is real. I'm a real person. And that they can come to an event and meet me personally. Of course, if you want to work with me, because generally, I I spend less time with people who are not serious and won't come to events. But, you know, if I tell them, hey, if you want to work with me, you want to come to the event, you know, I'll take you a lot more serious. And like I said, there's people that make a lot more money than me, you know, have a lot more skill sets than me that, you know, that you can just go directly to and learn from and take your business off, you know.
Mm-hmm. Right. So then that brings us to the obvious question, I think, which is how are you putting yourself out there, right? If you're obviously okay with being you, which, by the way, I think is a prerequisite for any successful marketer, right? Like you can't be all walking around introverted and wondering, am I doing it right, you know, and all that. So you're okay with you, so that's good. How do you put yourself out there? What is your what sort of marketing methods do you use?
Well, yeah, I do, you know, quite a bit of videos. Like, even though I'm not quite comfortable doing videos, but I do that. I put together content. You know, like I said, I'm on every one of the, you know, the trainings because, you know, I'm still learning, you know, every day. You know, I pick up new skills. You know, I'm listening to the other leaders, like on the Rise calls, or we have even, you know, the training that's inside of the Rise training. And, like, of course, we had, like, the Ascend events. A lot of that, what I learned, I actually put that into video and actually teach some of the strategies because a lot of people are, you know, they don't understand anything, you know, about how all this works. So all I like to do is, you know, tell people where I came from, you know, here's who I am, and here's why I chose such a business, and I write it out for them, you know, because that's one thing. If there's one thing I'm good at traffic, you know, paid traffic. You know, I do a lot of, I know there's a lot of social media people who do a lot of like Facebook, Instagram, which is great. But I'm more of an old-fashioned pay-per-click guy. I do a lot of, you know, CPA stuff kind of in between what I do now. So I like to, you know, teach marketing strategies, you know, and break it down step by step, make it easy for people to understand. So when I can put in my prospect's head, like, hey, I can do this. When I show them, hey, this is the mechanics on how online marketing works, and you don't have to be that salesperson. You're just driving traffic into a proven funnel, and then you get to leverage all of that and get the results. So that's pretty much how I position, you know, myself in front of my prospects.
Right. Now you're using video, which I think is awesome, right? So we have plenty of video marketers here, and that just speaks to the beauty of the individuality of people, right? Like obviously your videos are not my videos, and there's no way to you know, really imitate that, right? In fact, one of my favorite philosophers, Ralph Waldo Emerson, said, "Envy is ignorance, imitation is suicide." And so there's no need to imitate, right? Go be Marvin. I'll go be John. That's awesome, and everyone can do that. And my goodness, a YouTube channel is free. Have at it, right? If you got something to say it. But then you also mentioned paid methods, including CPA, so cost per action. Maybe you can explain a little bit, because you like you said, you're good at breaking things down so people can understand it. What if the new person who they never heard cost per action before? What is that?
Well, the term CPA, cost per action, you know, that just, you know, I guess I say that in the sense I work with some of the some other opportunities that involve CPA. So cost per action, you know, it means, you know, either you pay per action, either someone filling out a form or someone purchasing a product. But I guess coming from a CPA marketing background, you know, based on some other opportunities, that's kind of where I learned a lot of my traffic strategies. You know, I've done, you know, from Google PPC, of course, us as affiliate marketers. Google don't like us, so it's been a while since I worked with Google. But Bing, Yahoo, pay-per-click, that's one of my hot traffic sources. I target a lot of affiliate marketers, people who are starting a new business, and people who are already in a business and they're struggling to get results. That's probably my biggest audience right there, the people who are already in a existing business and they're struggling with marketing. Those are people I like to, you know, pick up, you know, learn what they're struggling with and provide them that solution. And then I provide them, you know, in the form of a free video. Hey, here's how you can get, you know, 100 visitors to your website, or here's how you can get more leads or get more email open rates for those who are doing email marketing. And then I'll provide, you know, digital altitude as that ultimate solution. Like, hey, you want to take your business, you know, from, I don't know, $3,000 a month to $30,000 a month. Hey, here's this excellent opportunity where you're going to get to learn from multiple, 6 and 7 figure income earners that's going to show you how to do this in a much shorter time than if you just keep spinning your wheels and trying to figure this out on your own.
Right. So you're leading with an offer for, let's say, for example, pay per click. So that's one method, right, for our new members here. You're going to be learning about stuff like this. So let's say there's somebody clicks on an ad and you pay when they click, right? We're breaking it down, Marvin, to ultra basics here, right? So you placed an ad on Bing or on Facebook or whatever, and you mentioned Google is not your friend. It's nobody's friend. Used to be. We did a lot of advertising on Google in the home business world, and no longer. But you're targeting people who are interested already. They're already in the conversation of, hey, I need to make more money with my existing business, or to find a business, or transition out of the business I'm in. I'm looking to generate leads. I'm looking to create some better return on my time that I'm investing here. And so there you are. You show up, and now here's a video from Marvin. Correct me if I'm wrong. Here's a video saying, here's some stuff you can do. Here's some tips. Here's some free value in advance, right? Here's some benefit. And now, by the way, you like this, I could show you how I'm monetizing this, right? I mean, this is pretty great. Click here and meet my buddy Michael, right? Is that it?
Exactly. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, I know for a lot of the new people, they're going to say, like maybe I'm sorry, I can't see the chat roll right now because I'm actually dialed in from a landline. But I know a lot of people are probably thinking like, well, how do you learn this material? How do you get to that point where you can provide these solutions? That's the reason why it's very important, to be positioned. You want to be. I mean, I'm assuming everybody's on this call is at least at the RISE level, because there's a lot of things that Michael Force goes over that teaches you a lot of these basics on online marketing. So that's the reason why it's important to be a student of the game. You want to be able to learn this for yourself and then use it in your business to see that it works. Then you can teach that to other people. Now, when it comes to the actual traffic strategies, to me, it all starts with search. I mean, the hottest prospects are the people who are actually looking for something specifically. So, like, for example, if someone is searching, they want to find dog food, and then they see ads for a computer, obviously that's not that's not a relevant ad to who's searching that. But I like to put a dog food ad, for example, for the person that's searching for dog food. And that landing page and that piece of content will be specific to that search query. Now, I know this may be a little, kind of technical. It may seem kind of a little technical for some of the new people, but it's really not. A lot of this, we went over at the Ascend event. A lot of people talked about various ways on targeting, and I know it's maybe a little different, because, I'm not much of a social media marketer. I'm more of the, like I said, the search. But that's pretty much how, I find my audience. I try to deliver a solution, based on whatever problem that they have or whatever it is they're looking for. And I say, now, you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be professional. You don't have to have a professional video camera. If a person is not comfortable in a video, they can always write content, because that's where I basically started. Because I actually have a blog where I do a little bit of SEO, definitely not on like Jesse Singh's level, but I do write some content out there. When people are searching for it, they find one of my ads or my site, and that kind of gets them engaged with me. They join my email list, and they kind of see me as a friend, because when someone can provide someone free value, based on, nothing, there's no incentive for me to provide them free information. Those kind of people will become your best friends, and those people will be the people that buy from you. Because people don't buy from strangers. People will buy more from someone they see as a friend versus, someone they just randomly come across online. That makes sense, John.
Sure. Well, and we're talking about something of a bit more consequence than just, buying vitamins or, going to Amazon to buy a book or something, right? We're talking about something that could potentially certainly take a lot of time, a life change, right? Something where there's I think a bit of a higher requirement for trust and credibility, right? Those two words come up for me a lot, Marvin, when I think about and I discuss marketing with people. It's like, well, why should I make this big, leap? Where, a lot of people see this as a leap of faith, where, they have, in some cases, maybe like you said before, been in other businesses. Maybe they're currently in a business, right? Like before I found Top Tier Direct Sales, I had done franchising. I put over 6 figures into that. A lot of work, okay. Did various other home-based businesses, like traditional MLM kind of stuff, and put, in some cases, significant money into it. So when I found an opportunity to do what we're doing here, okay, and again, we're going back, some years now, before Digital Altitude existed, but, Michael, myself, and, some of the other people behind the scenes here, we've got a lot of experience with this, but I was skeptical at first. I was like, I don't know, who's this guy, and he's pitching this thing, and it was only when I grasped not only the purpose of it, but the confidence of the person who I had connected with, that they could show me, some things that I did not know. Clearly, I did not know, because I was not making the kind of money they were making, and I became coachable, and I opened myself up to sort of abandoning my best thinking about business and adopting theirs. That's when things really started to open up for me. So I don't think, Marvin, anybody could do this without a leader, like yourself and like anyone who's out there marketing right now. By the way, folks, when I say a leader, that doesn't necessarily mean that you've made X amount of dollars, fill in the blank with whatever you think the amount is for a leader. I'm talking about the intention, the purposefulness, and the confidence, yes, the certainty that you can, in fact, show people a better way. And you don't even have to be able to explain it all. Marvin, admittedly, is not on the back end here and explaining things to people and coaching. And no. He's into, he's into the front end. He's into marketing, which is the action that's going to make you the most money. Beautiful. And then
right.
I get to,
right.
Go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm just agreeing with you. Yeah, go ahead, finish there, John.
Well, yeah, and then I get to, be a competent person that Marvin can leverage with, right? So, Marvin, you're not sending people to, like our coaches, they didn't just fall off the turnip truck, right? I mean, these are people, they know stuff, right? And I'm talking about
exactly.
Yeah, I'm talking about our setup coaches, of which there are many, right? And then, of course, anyone who gets the RISE program goes to one of our senior coaches, like myself. There's only a few of us, just a handful. But the idea here is that everyone has to know their post. And this is the thing, my friends, this is the thing that I think will give you the most leverage, no matter what you're doing, okay? And that is that if you're focused, like Marvin's talking about, you're focused on your specific task, and you get good at doing one or two different methods. Not everything, right? Like Marvin mentioned Jesse Singh. He's not here to compete with Jesse Singh. Jesse's a SEO expert guy, right? It's not Marvin's bag. Hey, okay, great. So he's into the PPC, the pay-per-click stuff, and the CPA stuff. Fine, okay? So pick what you've got a natural affinity for, what you find interesting, what you find perhaps easy for you you're gravitating towards that anyway, and then do that, right? And then you've got other people who are going to do other stuff, like, for example, our setup coaches who just love to call your leads all day. I mean, they live for this stuff. God bless them. I don't do that. That's not my post. Okay, but the point is you got to know your post, just like on a ship, right? So you're the captain. You are the captain of your business. I'm talking to everybody right now. You're the captain, and you're at the helm, right? You got to know where the rocks are. You got to know where you're steering this thing. You got to have a destination. Otherwise, let it run the damn thing into the rocks. Who cares, right? But no, you care. So you've got your chart, right? That's the education that Marvin's talking about. You've got your chart. You know where the rocks are. You know where the water's deep, right? That's where you're sailing. And then you've got other people on post, and they know their post, right? The cook does the cooking. The engineer runs the engines. By the way, Marvin, I don't know if you know, but I used to be an engineer I
remember you mentioned that.
Yeah. So like I know a lot about engines, but I don't know anything about where the rocks are. I don't know. The captain He knows that. In fact, I'm relying on him to know that, and he's relying on me to know how that engine runs. And you know what? The damn thing goes, right? It's good. But if we're not focused on that, right? Like, we're not multitasking here, right? I'm not running up to the bridge to turn the wheel and then running back down to the engine room. No. Right? Know your post. And so that's the focus. And I think a lot of times, here in the home business world, and I talk about this with our students, a lot of times people as solopreneurs, right, which sounds really cool. Hey, I don't have employees. I'm a one-man show, and look at me and my laptop, right? That's it, the laptop lifestyle. Okay, that's cool, but still, you're going to be really small if you don't have the ability to leverage off of other people's expertise. And I can tell you, my friend, all my breakthroughs, all my big breakthroughs in life, in various areas of life, okay, have come through the catalyst of other people. And there again is the value of the events, right? And I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know who the mentor of the moment is, okay? I don't have a crystal ball. But I do know that when I keep showing up, right, something happens, I get something, and some catalyst, right, that sends me in a direction that I may not have even suspected, right? And then, great fortune, is poured unto me. And that is a really cool thing to witness if if you got your eyes open to it. I've had to admit to myself that, I'm not an island, right? As much as, marketing may seem to be a very solitary sort of a thing. And certainly we need a captain at the helm, right? There's one captain, that's you, okay, that's fine. But still, you go to the captain convention and you learn about, water and rocks and stuff. Okay, you got to know this stuff. And you don't get to chart the whole planet yourself as if no one's ever charted it before. That's the beauty of these events. And there's something even intangible that comes there. And I can't even explain it. But you know what? I mentioned at the beginning of the call, we're going to be having a special broadcast on Thursday night. Watch your email, everybody. And I will be joining you on Thursday night to talk about some of these more subtle aspects of what we're doing here in our Digital Altitude Live event series. So anyway, Marvin, any other ideas you want to share before we open up the call for Q&A or any commentary from people?
Well, that's pretty much what you said there, John. The only thing I can say is that for the people listening, is that this is a really, awesome opportunity. Because like when I first got online in 2012, it would have been great if I had found a company like Digital Altitude when I first got started. I feel like my success would have came a lot sooner, because I don't remember ever joining a company in the past where I've joined, I bought the system, and someone has given me a call, because that's been one of the biggest complaints from a lot of my prospects is that, hey, once I joined this business or bought this course, I can't reach out to a real person. And so, and in Digital Altitude, the people that everyone gets to work with, from the setup coaches to the scale-up coaches, these aren't just, tech support people. These are people that are already making 6, 7, and some people are even in the 8-figure range. If you really think, how much it will cost, like even John, I'm not sure if you do any one-on-one coaching like outside of the company, but for someone
very
coach
expensive.
you,
very expensive.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very expensive. You get that for free here. And all you have to do is pretty much focus and just do what they say. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have. I would definitely be more than happy to come out and share some more content sometime. But I definitely really appreciate you inviting me out, John. Definitely look forward to seeing you and everyone else at the event.
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and open up the lines. We do have a bunch of people here who I'm sure would love to engage with Marvin. Hold on, stand by, here we go. All right, so Q&A session has started. What that means is if you are joining us live, obviously this does not work if you're listening to the podcast, but if you are live and you are on our conference bridge right now, you can raise your hand by clicking *6 if you're on a phone or Skype, right? That would be *6. Or if you're dialed in with the free conference call app, which is my favorite method, then you just click the raise your hand button or the microphone button, and that will raise your hand. And we do have our first caller in queue, and we are going to Lila. Lila, you're live on the air.
Hey, John. Hi. Hi, Marvin. It's nice to meet you. I just wanted to say, I think it's also important that you kind of find out what you're good at. Like with me, I've been in this for 9.5 months, and I just kind of figured out what I'm going to be good at. I'm a people person, and I like to talk. So right now I'm doing paid traffic, which is getting me by, but I'm also going to be working on blogging and also trying to do videos. So that's what I'm going to be doing. But I think it's kind of important that you got to figure out what you're really good at, and then go for it and just try it and see what happens. So I just want to say thank you. You're really inspiring, Marvin. Really awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate that. But yeah, you're definitely right about that. You got to find, what resonates with you and do what you're good at. Like I said, some people, especially when it comes to the actual strategy, some people, Facebook, Instagram, some people that resonates more with them. Like for me, I want to get more into Facebook and more into Instagram, but right now, the other strategies suit me best for now.
Right. Stick with what's comfortable for now, but always try something that kind of freaks you out a little bit too.
Definitely.
Yeah, great stuff, Lila. And you know what? You are into the spoken word, right? So video is great, and then you could even repurpose the video. Let's say you're running a YouTube channel, you can repurpose the audio portion of that on iTunes podcast or something. Like right now, we're recording this live on our conference call.
Yeah.
And then this is going to be on SoundCloud and iTunes and Google Play and Stitcher Radio on Demand. Hey, go for it, right? If you're into the spoken word, go for it.
Absolutely. I'm going to follow in your footsteps, John. I'm going to speak like crazy.
Awesome. Yeah. Be a professional talker. It's really cool. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Lila. We're going to go to our next caller, which is Hassan. Hassan, you're live on the air.
Hi, John. I'm a frequenter of your daily calls in the morning, and this is the first time I get a chance to talk to you. I have a question about the Module 6. If you recall the numbers, the projections of if you have so many leads, the example is 500 leads, and from the Aspire you get 5%. Obviously, these are estimates. And then when you go to the Rise, you get 30%, etc., etc. Of course, realizing the quality of the lead, how optimistic or realistic are these projections?
Well, that might be a good question for Marvin, although it is a bit off topic here, and I would definitely recommend, Hassan, you get with your coach, because they can also discuss that more with you, and also with your sponsor. But as far as projections or hypothetical scenarios, what I could tell you is that Michael has used his experience to come up with these numbers, and of course, every campaign is a test, right? All marketing is a test, Hassan. So here's a campaign that did nothing, right? It was a bust. We lost money. Here's a campaign that, my goodness, it was gangbusters, and so when it all averages out, that 5% you're talking about, that sounds not exceedingly optimistic, but also competent, right? We were talking about competence earlier. Yeah, that's a competent number, all right? There's such a thing as split testing and optimization, and do more of what works and less of what doesn't. Well, you don't know what works until you've done some, right? So any new marketer at the outset is going to have the disadvantage of no data. I don't know. What are we optimizing? Well, let's take a look and let's run some tests. Marvin, what do you think about all that?
Yeah, John, I only actually heard part of his question. I had to put my plug in my charger, but basically, as you said, it's about testing. Testing everything. Every campaign is obviously not going to be a winner. It's about, even from my personal numbers, only about maybe 7 to 10% of my marketing campaigns are actually generating the revenue. So it's actually, it's like a game of, you're constantly playing the game. That's why you want to track everything. Maybe we can, maybe on another call, we can actually talk about ways of tracking your results, like when you're actually running paid traffic. You know what I mean? By using things like link trackers, understanding where conversions are coming from, and those things are very important rather than just some people are just putting ads out there and then just running a bunch of money into it and just hoping for the best. It's kind of a fast way to lose money. So tracking everything is going to be important, and testing and knowing where exactly leads and conversions are coming from. I think now coaching, the coach may be the best person to answer that for now, but we can definitely maybe be a good topic for another call.
Yeah, you know what? We also have traffic coaches who work with members. Once you're through all the Aspire steps, you can engage on an optional basis. You can engage with private traffic coaches and secretaries, and we've got all that. And these people are more focused on those sort of things. As you probably realize, Hassan, I'm more of a philosopher really than anything. But when it comes to marketing, I can tell you clearly, everything's a test. And if you're hitting 20% of the time, Marvin just said 7 to 10%, right? If you're hitting 20% of the time, in other words, if you're failing 80% of the time, you're a rock star, right? Which is a bit maddening for people like me with a mechanical background. There's no gray area. There's no, you kind of did it almost okay. No, it's right or it's wrong. The machine runs or it doesn't. Here, it's nothing but gray. Marketing, everything's a test. Right, and again, 20%. Think of it like the 80-20 rule, right? 20% of your marketing, if it's a hit, that's awesome, right? And that will make you a lot of money. Engineering people have a hard time with that because it's just so gray. There's no black and white there. What's the best campaign? I don't know. What's the right thing to do? I don't know. But we're going to do some, and then we're going to do more of what works and less of what doesn't. It's a fun game too. Right, Marvin? I mean, we're talking about the psychology of human decision-making. This is fascinating for any intelligent person to see how this whole thing plays out. And then, of course, to earn while you learn and earn very handsomely. So, Hassan, great topic. And there are people who definitely can engage with you more, outside of this forum that we're in right now. Okay? And thanks for being here, Hassan. It's always great to see you on the calls. You keep showing up, brother. Glad you're here. Looking forward to seeing you in Vegas.
I just want to share another thing with you. Since you're an engineer, I'm also I'm a chemical engineer.
Oh, well, yeah. There's no gray area there. It's not we'll try a little bit of this. We'll try a little bit of that. No, you won't. Right. Very different. Very different. But obviously, you're here, Hassan. So. Again, looking forward to seeing you at Marketing Mastery, my friend.
Good
stuff. All right, we're going to go on to our next and final caller for tonight, and that is Len. Len, you're live on the air, sir.
Yes. Hey, Marvin, you've got more listeners than you think. I kind of watched you on and off when you were on your Utah trip a couple of weeks ago. That was interesting, but I was too busy learning how to navigate AWeber to get back with you. I have a question, maybe, Marvin could answer maybe, or anybody could that has knowledge of this. I'm ready to do my video marketing thing, and I wonder if a short YouTube thing would be good, or it probably depends on how I steer the audience. And also I'm thinking of, I'm doing a little bit of Facebook now, but I'm also ready to jump into Instagram. Marvin, do you use Instagram at all? I know you use YouTube.
Hey, Lynn. I've just started into Instagram a little bit. Been using some of the strategies that Jason Stone has been using. I haven't tested it enough to where I can say I've gotten a lot of results yet. So I will probably refer back to that the On the Rise call that Jason Stone did with John. That may be best to turn to that, because I haven't done a lot of it just yet there, Lynn.
Okay. I was wondering, I hear they just hit a landmark of 1 billion people now, so they're moving up fast.
Yeah. It's definitely money to be made in it. I know people, aside from Jason Stone, I know a couple other people that, make 7 figures a year, and their only traffic source is Instagram.
Well, that's good to know. Okay. Also, I wondered about email marketing as opposed to the others. What do you do most of?
Well, I do it all. I mean, email marketing is going to be very, very, very important. So you should always be building a list. So if you're shooting, little videos, YouTube videos, always be sure to put some kind of call to action for someone to get on your email list, because as you know, with YouTube, you don't know. I'm not sure what stage you're in your marketing, but YouTube channels can get shut down. So you definitely want to try to get as many people on your email list as possible, because that way, once they're on your email list, you'll be able to share content with them, and you'll be able to market to them for years to come.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate your time.
All right, no problem, Lynn. You take care.
Very good. Thank you, Lynn. And we do have one more guy who jumped in here. Here we go. And we'll wrap up tonight with Nick in Indiana. Nick, you're live on the air.
Hey, guys. Thanks for pouring in to everybody here all hours of the day across the date line and stuff. Marvin, I think you had touched on this briefly, and I apologize if I make you repeat yourself, but when it comes to, creating content, I say that's probably the biggest thing. I just don't even know where to start. I've gone through the first 8 steps. I have not got my Rise yet. I'm working on that, but I do have a couple other affiliate things that I'm trying to boost up and integrate. So just trying to figure out content for me feels like there's a little block there.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, when I say content, it can be, a form. I'm not saying like you have to go write a book or anything, but it can just be a short video. Like I said, most people who start with content, they start with just sharing their story about who they are and why they joined this industry. And like I said, most of the content you're going to learn from a technical standpoint is going to come when you do get into the Rise level. Like I said, Rise, Michael Force goes over the structure of how to start your own LLC, how to get a presence online. Just little nuggets like that is what you can use those ideas in your content. Now, until you get to Rise, you can actually go through, even like I said, this call for reference. I've talked about, some traffic strategies I've used. And there's been, other leaders who's been on the call with John that's went over their strategies from Instagram to Facebook. Kiara, she does a lot of Facebook. And then there's the On the Rise call. So I would start with the training that you're accessing for free. Use those as ideas to just do a short video on. You don't have to, memorize everything word from word. Just do a little 2 or 3 minute video, and then try to capture that lead. So it's really important to try to, as I was telling Lynn, try to get people on your email list, because that's how you build your following. You build people, you build a list of prospects. These are people, potential business partners, and people that will work with you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you, Marvin. Great question, Nick. And, with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up because we're coming up on the top of the hour. So I want to thank everybody who participated. Just wrapping up the Q&A session there. Marvin, thank you, my friend. This is really, really fun, I think. Well, I don't know. Did you have fun or did just me? Only I had fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Actually, I went a little better than I thought it was, but I definitely I appreciate you bringing me out, John.
Oh, my pleasure. And you know what would be a good thing to do? You mentioned the whole idea of tracking and optimization and tracking links and all this. That would be a great thing for a Wednesday night On the Rise webinar. So maybe we'll get you with Cassandra, who hosts the On the Rise show, and she can get you booked for maybe sometime over the next month, maybe after the event, and you can demo a little bit of what you do there as far as optimizing your campaigns and such. So that'd be great. But thank you again, and so good to finally have you out here on the Black Diamond call. So we're going to wrap up with that. Everyone, thanks for being here, and of course, if you listen to this on the podcast, make sure your team members get this also. I found this really inspirational, and lots of good nuggets here from Marvin, and of course, meet me and Marvin and Michael and everybody in Las Vegas in just a couple weeks. I will see you guys there. In the meantime, make it a great day. You absolutely deserve it, and bye for now.